Support.
The maestro, please!
Welcome to the first record rundown of the summer. Hopefully the weather stays like this. This will be for the week of
June 18th, 2019.
On this day in music back in 1948, Columbia Records unveiled its new form of record disc made out of vinyl as opposed to shellac. This new vinyl record would rotate at 33 1/3 RPM, and to this day it remains one of the most popular physical mediums for music. So normally I would start talking about this, but I believe it's good to talk about this one in tandem with a documentary was recently released about the operatic tenor Luciano Pavarotti, which spurred the release of both the movie's soundtrack as well as the greatest hits compilation that we just heard previously. If you want my take on it, here it is. If you're a big Luciano Pavarotti fan, get the new greatest hits album. If you are just trying to see what Luciano Pavarotti was all about, just get the movie soundtrack. The greatest hits album does pretty much contain everything that's on the soundtrack, but it's like 60-something tracks, so if you want something a bit more digestible, just get the movie soundtrack.
Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Jared and Jonathan Mattson, and yes, they are related. They're identical twins. Jared on guitar, Jonathan on drums. This is a very pleasant sounding album, a lot of good vibes here, with some emotional complexity if you're there for it, but if you're looking for some good jazz music to listen to, I can easily recommend it.
Singing.
I love rock and roll!
Now I'm ready to face my disguise.
As far as metal albums go, this one's a bit diverse because the different tracks sometimes go into different subgenres of metal, so you can hear the diversity of the genre, or at very least get a primer on it, as they do some subgenres better than they do others. Regardless, there's a track on here about the Headless Horseman, which is always fun. Color me surprised. The last thing I was expecting was a new Santana album. Regardless, the idea with this is that Carlos Santana wanted to incorporate a lot of traditional African music into his work. So if you want to hear a good fusion between Latin rock and traditional African music, you're not going to get any better than this.
We pop out at your party, I'm with the gang, and it's gonna be a robbery, so tuck your chain. I'm a killer, girl, I'm sorry, but I can't change. We ain't aiming for your body.
I'll be real, I never even heard of Polo G before this album dropped. Regardless, this is a pretty strong debut album. There are some great tracks on here. I advise you to keep an eye on Polo G, because he might be about to come up.
I just went out to Morocco to do some recruiting, yeah. For the government official plug with Putin, yeah. Got your twin sisters, yeah, squirt, they be shooting, yeah.
I feel like Future is just making so much music lately. It couldn't have been that long ago that we were talking about The Wizard. The man clearly puts in work. Well, we had two last week. I guess the only update I can give you is that Avicii's Tim is now the #1 EDM album, beating out the Chainsmokers' World War Joy EP with Call You Mine.
And now I need some help from the maestro, please!
I just went out to Morocco to do some recruiting, yeah. For the government official plug with Putin, yeah. Got your twin sisters, yeah, squirt, they be shooting, yeah.
Even with all the music he's been making, this is still technically his debut solo EP. So go figure.
Long neck, eyes cold beer, never broke my heart. Like diamond rings and football teams are torn.
Honestly, the biggest thing I take away from this is, what is this the prequel to exactly? Rumor has it that he's supposed to be dropping a full-length album in the fall, so I guess we'll see how these two relate, supposing that rumor is true. So in a Rolling Stone interview that Carlos Santana did when he was talking about how he worked with Rick Rubin, the producer for this album, if you go further along in the interview, he then drops that they did 49 songs in 10 days. That is ridiculous.
What do you know? What
I'm just scared of me. Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go?
Let's see, where is she today? In Nashville at the Ascent Amphitheater, and she still has Denzel Curry as the opening act.
I'm a sucker for you. Say the word and I'll go anywhere blindly.
It's been like, what, 10 years since their last studio album? Regardless, they're back, and honestly, I actually like their sound. I don't remember being a big Jonas Brothers fan 10 years ago, but their sound has very much matured, obviously because they're older. So if you want like adult Jonas Brothers music, boy do you got it. A brand new playlist to start off your summer strong, and boy there are a lot of summer tracks on this playlist, so enjoy.
And now I need some help on the maestro, please. Maestro.